Salute, BookTube. Welcome to my channel. Thank you again, as always, for being here. Uh, I'm gonna make this video. It's the 50 before you're 50 reading event, reading trend that's been going around on BookTube. A lot of BookTubers have done this, but I wanted to single out a specific channel. I just saw it and I got inspired to say I want to do it as well. The channel is by a gentleman called Bryan, and the channel is called the-Crustic Crusty Codex. I'll link to his channel below. I recently discovered him through other mutual BookTube friends, and I've enjoyed his content very much. And he just recently, perhaps a week ago now, well, more than a week ago when this probably comes out, he did a 50 before 50 book challenge. Book reading challenge, and I thought to myself, well, maybe I can do the same. Now, I don't want to embarrass Bryan, but he says it in his video that he's 47 or approaching 47. I'm 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 40, turning 41 in October, so getting there, slowly but surely, and I thought I would do it. Of course, maybe if I'm lucky, of course, I have a bit more time, but never a bad thing to start too early, I don't think. So that's what I thought I would do. And the thing that really inspired me, I guess, to do this is what I've noticed from these channels who are doing this 50 before 50 reading challenge is how seriously they're taking it, because they do have to. This is a bit, it's a bit more calm to talk about, but you know, you really, once you hit that age, you really do need to think seriously. What are the 50 books that I haven't read that I do really want to read? Because you never know. Sad as it is to say, but it happens to us all, I guess. So you really, you need to really think about the channels, the videos that I've seen of this reading event or reading challenge. Really, people are you know, they think about it and say, you know, I really want to read this book. And you know, when you're younger, you can say, oh well, I'll do it later or later, but then later becomes shorter and shorter and shorter. So I think you get my point. So that's you know, one of the reasons I wanted to do it. Again, I've got a bit more time, a little bit more time, not that much, again assuming that I'll even reach 50. But yeah, so I thought I would jump in, and at least in this Bryan on his video, he did it 50 before 50 question mark. He's still not sure if he wants to commit 100%. I'm gonna add the question mark to the title of this video as well, because I'm still, basically what this is I'm brainstorming what should I read, thinking about the books that I want to read before 50. At least 50 of them before 50, and maybe if I'm again lucky and I do have more time, maybe I can do more than 50. But again, I'm just brainstorming in front of all of you, and I hit the record camera and I'm brainstorming. That being said, I did do a little bit of preparation. I wanted to add a few rules. I just recently, the last couple of videos I did a tag called the seriously well read tag, and then I did a follow-up tag called the don't take reading too seriously tag. You can see them in my back catalog. It's the last two videos I've posted before this one. And I'm saying, oh, I'm just brainstorming here, but what I did want to do is add a bit of structure and put a couple of rules. I think the first rule I want to do, and for those of you who are new to my channel, I mostly read nonfiction and mostly history. That's just my passion. I just love reading it, and that's what I do. But what I was thinking for this 50 before 50 challenge was to focus on fiction. Now that can take you in a whole array of places. So I also thought I would find, because again, when I was younger and trying to be more of a serious reader, I would find these books, and I've got an example here, which it kind of gives you like a guide to reading, basically, what to read, how to read, etc. And this is the book I have that I think, again, just help me brainstorm, get some ideas. The book is by Susan Wise Bauer, and it's called The Well-Educated Mind. The subtitle is A Guide to the Classical Education You Never Had. So this is Susan Wise Bauer. She's quite famous, I think, in the United States. I actually have another of her books, and this is what I was drawn to her book. She had a book, let me get the exact title because I think it's mentioned here. Yeah, it's The Story of the World, history for the classical child. And she had, her first one was The Ancient Times. And I have that book because, again, if you see my back channel, I have a fascination with ancient history, especially Mesopotamia. And there's a lot of Mesopotamia in Susan Wise Bauer's classical mind for children, or for the classical child. I am half Iraqi. I've got a series about the Iraqi history. You can watch all of that on my back catalog. But that's where I discovered this author, and I remember the bio. She is famous she's, I think, quite big in the in America, the at home, what is it called? Maybe it's written here. The stay at home, homeschooling. That's the word, homeschooling. Sorry, I'm struggling with the cover, the book cover. Homeschooling. She's quite big in the homeschooling. So that series about ancient history, her books are sort of textbooky for homeschooling, and I think this is in the similar vein. This is if you didn't go, or you didn't get the what does it say, the classical education you never had, you can do it at home, basically, self-teach yourself. So she's quite big in that space. So yeah, I thought I would use this as a guide. Again, this is because but this is, there's a lot of she gives, so the beginning of this book, if you go through the table of contents, there's a chapter 1 is training your own mind. Chapter 2 is wrestling with books, the act of reading. Chapter 3, keeping the journal, a written record of new ideas. Chapter 4, starting to read, final preparations, like you got to warm up before you do this. None of this is really you have to do, but again, it's the nature of this book. She gives you, there's a big introduction about how to prepare, how to read right, I guess, which is, again, it's an opinion, and you don't have to, but what I thought I would do, because that's the first half of the book. The second half of the book actually has lists of books, like what to read, how to read it. So I thought I would use that as an inspiration for to brainstorm the sort of books I want to think about, the fiction books I want to think about for my 50 before 50. I don't think I'm going to start this soon. Again, that sounds a bit pretentious, and like, oh, I've got time, but it's just I've already see my summer being a bit busy in reading. Maybe I can start it, maybe there'll be some overlap, but maybe I can start for my 41st birthday, which is in October. Let's see. But again, I'd like to start preparing and thinking about it now, and that's what the point of this video is. The other thing Susan Wise Bauer does in part 2, it's the part 2 is called Jumping into the Great Conversation. So this is where we actually get the lists. And she's divided this book, like what to read to be classically educated. There's the story of people reading through history with the novel. And then there's chapter 6, the story of me, autobiographies and memoir. Chapter 7 is the story of the past, the tales of historians and politicians, in brackets. Chapter 8 is the world stage, reading through history with drama. And then chapter 9 is history refracted, the poets and their poems. For this video, and I think just to get me started, I think I'm going to focus, because I don't want to do the historians or the politicians or the biographies, the nonfiction. I want to focus on fiction. So I think a good place to start as a history nonfiction reader is that first one, the story of people, reading through history with a novel. So some novels, some fiction, kind of historical fiction, but not exclusively. There's a lot of classics in here, as we'll see. I'm gonna go through the list just to get it started, and so I thought that's a good place to start. See that list, the history, reading through history with the novel, and see what I've read, what I haven't read, and then I can at least begin my list, and then hopefully soon actually start reading, executing the list. So yeah, so I've got the bookmark here. So this is the annotated novel list. So the first book is Miguel de Cervantes' Don Quixote. Don Quixote. Don Quixote. This is the first time I've actually said it out loud. Don Quixote. I have this book. I've got the Penguin Classics edition. Well read. This is a book I've read, so I don't know if this counts. And it's a big book. I don't know if I'm in for a reread, but this book has been making the rounds very recently on BookTube, thanks to the efforts of Patrick's book reviews. Great channel. If I remember, I'll mention him below. He's a big fan of Cervantes. He's a big fan of Don Quixote and Cervantes in general. And he makes the claim that it's the greatest novel. Now, I don't know if I'll go that far. I did read it. I did enjoy it. I think I've read it twice. It's quite my copy's quite beaten up. I don't know if I'll go to the greatest ever, but I mean, it's a 500-year novel. It's one of the first sort of novel ever written. Again, this is from the 1500s, if I'm not mistaken. So sort of Spanish Renaissance. So I don't know if this counts, but it's just to give you an idea. And you notice on this list it starts with Don Quixote. So a lot of these books that Susan Weisbauer mentions are quite modern novels. Not much about the ancients, and that's something I want to add to my list. But at least this is a start. So we'll go. What's next? Let's go to the next thing. The next book is John Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress. This is one I do have. Again, the first three, when I first purchased this book, I went on a hunt and said, okay, I'm going to get all of these books and start reading them. So I do have a few, at least the first couple of books. Of course, I never followed through. So again, this 50 before 50 is a good kick in the behind to actually get this done. So I do have The Pilgrim's Progress. This is an Oxford World's Classics edition. The next book also I have, because I was trying to compile and get a copy of each of these books, Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels. Sorry about the glare. So that's that. If we keep going through the list, try to do this as quickly. Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. I've read this. I'll keep my opinions of it for myself, but maybe I'm due a reread. I don't have a hard copy. I read it in soft copy. You can find Pride and Prejudice everywhere online for free. The next book is Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist. Again, haven't read this one. Easy to find. I should be able to find that easily. These are all in the public domain. Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre, I haven't read. Nathaniel Hawthorne, The Scarlet Letter, I haven't read. Herman Melville, Moby Dick. I have read this. I've got a copy of a battered Signet Classic copy. Very sort of modern, I don't know what you call this, but cover. But Moby Dick I do have, and I have read. Again, maybe a reread. We'll see when it comes. The next book is Harriet Beecher Stowe, Uncle Tom's Cabin. I haven't read. I don't have a copy. The next book is Gustave Flaubert, Madame Bovary. I've got a copy of this. This is a Bantam Classics that I have of Madame Bovary by Flaubert. Haven't read it though. So again, definitely one that should go on the list, I think. The next is Fyodor Dostoevsky and Crime and Punishment. I've got this Signet classic, not a very, quite a boring cover, but gets to the point. Uh, haven't read this. I am in the midst of Russian Lit 2026, which is uh, a um, a personal reading project that I'm trying to read Russian literature in 2026. So I'm hoping to get to this. I don't know, ideally this year in 2026. Time permitting. So I'll probably get to this sooner than I actually will officially start the 50 before 50 list. Um, the next book is Leo Tolstoy, but here's Anna Karenina. I don't have a copy of Anna Karenina. I haven't read it. That should go on the list. Also appropriate for Russian Lit 2026, which, looking at the amount of books and the size of the books, might go into 2027 and probably 2028 as well. The next book is Thomas Hardy, The Return of the Native. Haven't read it. Henry James, The Portrait of a Lady. Haven't read it. Mark Twain is next. Huckleberry Finn. Huckleberry Finn. I had a copy. I'm sure I have a copy of this. I couldn't find it. I was looking and I didn't want to make a mess and take a lot of books out. I should have a copy, but I still haven't read it. Maybe I was assigned portions in high school, but not the complete book. The next is Stephen Crane, The Red Badge of Courage. Haven't read it. Joseph Conrad is the next book, Heart of Darkness. This I have read. I've got a nice Oxford World Classics cover. These Oxford World Classics, I know the Penguins get a lot of love, but I really like the covers of these Penguin World Classics. But I don't, I haven't, I mean, I did read this, and as much as I like this cover, because this has other tales as well, but the Heart of Darkness, I wasn't too impressed. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another try. It's not very long. Yeah, we'll see. Next is Edith Wharton, The House of Mirth. I haven't read that. Next is F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby I've read. I've got a lot of Fitzgerald. I must have a Great Gatsby somewhere here, but it's been a while since I've read it. Maybe it's due a reread. I know Fitzgerald gets, and The Great Gatsby as well, it doesn't get a lot of love on BookTube. But for me, not Gatsby, but Fitzgerald, especially his other works, not just The Great Gatsby, his other works, I like them. It resonates with where I'm at. And for those of you who are new, I'm based in the United Arab Emirates, a small country in the Middle East, and it contains the city of Dubai, which is a very ostentatious, wealthy, with a lot of wealthy people, very similar to sort of Gilded Age New York, or exactly what Fitzgerald wrote about. So the destruction therein. So I don't know, I can relate to it. So I really like his works. So maybe I'll do a Great Gatsby reread. It's been a while. The next book is Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Dalloway. I've got a copy of this. I've got a vintage, again, dark cover, the glare, this is a problem. Regulars of my channel, vintage edition of Mrs. Dalloway. And I've also got the Wordsworth Classics edition of Mrs. Dalloway, which I think is a nicer cover. Haven't read them, but haven't read them. So that'll be a good reason to read them. And then next is Franz Kafka, The Trial. This is, I'm very embarrassed to read, and I have a very strong feeling that I would enjoy Kafka. Weiss Bauer puts the Trial. I know him from Metamorphoses, but Kafka, I don't even have copies of Kafka, so that's embarrassing. I need to get to Kafka, because people see me with this library and they ask me, well, have you read Kafka? And I'm always embarrassed to say no. Just like I'm embarrassed to say I haven't read Dostoevsky, so I need to rectify that. The next book is Richard Wright, Native Son. I haven't read it. Albert Camus, The Stranger. Haven't read it. Next is George Orwell, 1984. I'm doing a bit of Orwell reading right now, actually, but not 1984. I'll discuss my Orwell reading in another video, but I do have a copy of 1984. I just couldn't find it. It wasn't to hand. I didn't want to make a mess in my library looking for it, but it's somewhere there. Still haven't read it. That's another embarrassment. Orwell, Kafka, Dostoevsky. Need to rectify that. The next book is Ralph Ellison, Invisible Man. Haven't read it. Saul Bellow, Seize the Day. Haven't read it. Next is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, 100 Years of Solitude. This I've read. I was given this a gift from a Colombian friend. Marquez, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, famous Colombian, probably the most famous Colombian author out there. I read it. This book is a gift, so I enjoyed it. I know my friends JJ and Angelina at JJ at Bookworm Blacksmith and Angelina at Books Do Things to Me had a buddy read, and from their response videos, they weren't that enthused about this, but I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was my first serious look into magical realism, and I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it very much. So again, that might be a reread, but we'll see. Again, as time ticks, how much rereading do you want to do, and how many new books do you want to read? Next book is Italo Calvino, If on a Winter's Night a Traveler. Haven't read it. Toni Morrison, Song of Solomon. Haven't read it. Don DeLillo, White Noise. Haven't read it. Seen it going around BookTube though a lot. And then the last book is A.S. Byatt, Possession. Haven't read it. So those are the books under the section of, what was it called? Reading Through History with the Novel. So as you can see, there's a big bunch of them. I don't know how many books I listed there, but there's a big bunch of them that I haven't read. The majority I haven't read. A few that I have read, I might do a reread, and then some, and many of the other that I haven't read, I do have copies, so I don't have an excuse. So I think that's a good starter, just to get me thinking, and then to create a list and put those books as a priority. So I don't know how many I listed there. Let's put somewhere in 15 maybe 20. That's a good start for the list, but that's definitely not exhaustive. Again, as I mentioned earlier in this video, these are much more modern novels, very recent, or not modern literature. There's a lot of stuff from medieval that I want to include on the list, and there's a lot of stuff from the ancients, that I want to add as well. And I want to add others, especially anything that you guys, my faithful viewers and subscribers, want to recommend that I should read. Some absolute, if you want, put it in the comments. You don't have to put it in the comments now or think about it, but down the line, future videos, you hear me saying and I mention that I want to read something or have you read, or you can please let me know. Maybe I can add it to the list. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. I wanted to do this, jump into this 50 before I'm 50, because it is creeping up on me, although I'm in denial. So yeah, with that, BookTube, I will wrap this up. I will tell you, please do check out my newest BookTube friend, Bryan. Well, I'm saying he's my friend. We haven't really spoken, but I checked out his videos and I've subscribed to him. I will link his channel and his version of this video below. Do check it out. There's a whole bunch of booktubers who have done this 50 before 50. You can just search for it and you'll get your favorite booktuber would probably have done it if they're your favorite booktuber and they're old like me. But yeah, with that, BookTube, I'll wrap this up and I'll say salute.